welcome back to MCOC AlBundyRules. I have Chapter 2, Variant 6 for us. It's going to be 2.1, 2.2. First of all, I want to apologize for some sound issues on Variant 1. I'm Variant 6, Chapter 1. Was trying something different with the newer mic of mine. And yeah, it kind of backfired. So I apologize for a little bit of feedback or whatever that was. I will not make that mistake again. So, along the way, I'm going to do 2.1 here. Was looking at the nodes, so I went with this team based on the nodes that we have as far as you can get health. So I'm looking for unstoppable and unblockable champs are going to be very beneficial, or somebody like Void who can reduce regeneration, because regeneration is going to be huge on this one. So I need ways to counteract it either with what Void does on his own normally, or based on the nodes that are currently active on this path, which can help people who have the unstoppable or unblockable abilities. So you'll see that I did actually already run one path on here, had a whole path, had a nice run through, thought I had it recorded, but I might have misclicked or something didn't go through, so I'm redoing a path in order for me to be able to show you how to go ahead and get an item free completion run. It might not always be perfect, might not always be beautiful, but bottom line, what I always go for is the item-free completion runs to help you get through it easier and smoother, and that is what we will have. The Chapter 1 had completely smooth, Venom the Duck completely dominated on 1-1 and 1-2. In Chapter 2 for 2-1 and 2-2, both of them are going to be on this video, as I'm going to have 3 total videos for all of Variant 6, one for each chapter, 2 quests per chapter. So we see I just kind of take it easy with Void. I let the time kick in, and then we'll see at this point I'll just stay back. I do not want to hit Void because based on time the regenerations are going up. So the longer I go without hitting him after the reverse regeneration kicks in, then the quicker he's going to die. So once I get the certain debuff I want, I just stand back, don't hit him, or you're going to reset it unless you get cornered. Then that changes things a bit. So here's someone we don't see very often. I'm not sure if anyone has noticed this yet, but this is built pretty much for Carnage right here because I can get free regeneration and minus 200% their regeneration with unblockables. Carnage has like the easiest unblockables in the game. All I gotta do is get him bleeding, stay close, I get tons of power, and I can just spam either S1s or S2s depending on what I want. Each time I'm going to get a free 10% regeneration. So this Carnage I'm using is only an R4. Normally most of these things you're going to see me be using R5s or R2 6 stars. However, so this is an R4 and you're going to see this is built really good for him. If you have a Carnage, you're going to want to break him out for 2-1. Like on command, free regeneration while reversing theirs. And seeing some good fun here. It's kind of fun. I was happy to see these nodes because Carnage is a fun champ. I really enjoy using him, but I don't always get to use him as much as I want. So I was happy to see that I can have a little fun in Variant 6 with him. And so you see the regeneration, but once I get that unblockable going, it resolves that. And if you're not familiar with how to use Carnage, I do have a 4-minute tutorial on how to use them. I would recommend it. Sometimes you'll see me step back after a special because you actually can bank buffs with him. So if I'm paying attention, I usually try to go for either Precision or Fury most of the time. But it depends on the timer. I explained that in the tutorial. It's a little trickier, different buffing mechanism. But you will see my Carnage get stronger as the fight goes on because of that. Anyway, so we're going into the next fight with Sentry. So my goal here is get through as much of the path as I can with Carnage. This path going to be a little bit more tricky than the ones we saw in Chapter 1. Chapter 1 was like ridiculously straightforward. This one isn't too bad, but might encounter a couple little hiccups along the way, but nothing we can't get through item free smoothly. Something I like about Carnage, he's just fun to play. You just get bleeding, get close, and then you just keep getting those specials so quick. If I need to heal, I'll start spamming S1s, or if I need to stop his healing, I'll spam S1s. Otherwise, I'll usually go to S2, get some more damage going on there, and it's so easy to push specials with him. And Carnage has been making very easy work of the first two fights that he has been in thus far. So I had gone up on the top path earlier. Now we're going to go down this path and go with Tigra. Still getting used to her. I hate how her specials are just so ridiculously long and weird. But hopefully I don't mess those up, but no promises there. However, as long as I get through the fight, preferably no deaths or item free, then I am happy. Based on the class disadvantage that Carnage would have, I decided to go with Void, who we did see used once already. So same basic strategy I'm going to use with Void, try to spam those special ones, let time do its work so I can get those debuffs, preferably get to Fear of the Void sooner the better. But I'm also being kind of leery because Tigra Special is kind of throwing me off on occasion. Just need to fight her a little bit more. Big thing is, it just depends on how my debuffs stack. Right now I'm trying to get the Reverse Regeneration one. Have not been successful on it. Yeah, but just a matter of time. Kind of like some champs, you gotta wait for the right ones you want. Here, gotta be careful. I got cornered on the unblockable, so that hurt. Unless you're just like all the way on the right side of the screen as she launches one of her specials, I mean, it's just ugly because they're just so long. There, I got the specials confused, so this fight is starting off pretty bad for me. However, on the good news, I finally got the debuffs on her that I needed, so now you see her health just melting away. So you could do this path very easily with Void, as long as you play somewhat careful, defensive, and just make sure you stack those debuffs, because they'll just melt themselves away once you get them stacked good enough. Going on next to Thor Ragnarok. So I'm seeing got a metal champ right here. Surprisingly, I have barely touched or used at all Magneto so far in this variant 6, which is kind of surprising. I thought I was just going to smash through all of it with Magneto, which he could do a lot of it, no doubt about it. But I've been having fun using some of the other champs. I like some of the nodes, giving me a chance to use some of the other guys I don't use as much. I use Magneto every single day. I don't use people like Carnage or Void every single day. So having fun using some of the other champs. So, but if I do see a nice fit like this, I am going to go with my Magneto, and we already see what's going on here. We see what happens when he does the Unstoppable. Magneto is perfect for this node, similar to Carnage, because like Carnage has very easy unblockables, Magneto has very easy unstoppables. So that's going to help control the healing, and that's going to help control give me free health, although I want to mainly save my Magneto for as close to full health as I can for the boss fight. I plan on doing the boss fight, the Electro, with Magneto, so I don't want to put too much wear and tear on him during the path. I figured that won't be a nice, easy one for him, so little risks. Because Magneto is really my plan A and my plan B for the boss, so if I was to mess up before the boss fight, gonna have to go to contingency plans, which would not be as pretty. So we see the unblockables. We see that I'm getting ready to get the buff bank. So you see me backing off. So I was able to get the precision there. It's just that little purple timer up there. If you're not familiar with what that is, then be sure to watch my tutorial. So I build them up. So I was playing a little sloppy. I was worried a little too much about my banking my buffs, and I just made some silly mistakes, but I'm not too worried about it because I am able to get health. So at this point I'm just going to spam S1s. He's going to give me some regeneration ability. Except I'm going to this vision with these nodes. I'm not 100% sure how this one is going to go. So I'm kind of debating in my head which way do I want to go with this. thinking Mags is for. I was thinking he was meta like the other Vision, but he's not. So I'm thinking Doom should be the best. But this one could go all kinds of different possibilities. It can get tricky. The good thing about Doom for these fights with the regeneration is he does have some unblockable specials. So that's what I'm going to be relying on for this fight. Although I messed up on that S2. Playing a little sloppy so far as I'm trying to get things going on here. And so this fight's throwing me for a little bit of a loop, mainly because, well, this Vision is already a little bit interesting fighting sometimes, especially on who you're using, especially if you don't have somebody cold snap immune. But, although Doom should be good on that, although I'm worried about these regenerations as I'm struggling getting any health taken off. So I'm getting myself a little too distracted looking at his health and taking kind of a pummeling on myself. So this is not a pretty fight. But get moving into this. So now I see some damage going here. I do not have Mystic Dispersion on, which is hurting me a little bit with these S3. And yeah, that was just a terrible fight. I did all kinds of things wrong there. But don't always have to get through every fight a solo. We saw the mistakes. Doom could have worked, not the most efficient one. That was mostly sloppy fighting on my side, but we did see I was having a really hard time with the health, and we already see I'm having that. Now I'm trying to rush this to get my unblockable specials going, because we already see Vision's healing, and yeah, that was not a good idea. Bringing in a low health Carnage, all I did was let Vision get a little more health back. So got to be careful with these nodes. If you make a mistake, it can bite you in the rear. So now I was trying to save my Magneto for the boss, but I've had way too much slop going on. So I'm figuring if I just go ahead and use his Unstoppables, he's going to be my next best bet right now for these nodes because of his easy unstoppable. It's going to give me some regeneration while controlling his. So we should see, hopefully this should work well. Some mistiming on a special there, and we'll see that this so far is going pretty good. Unfortunately, he's a tougher one to parry sometimes. So if I can't get that heavy off in time, then he starts healing. But very, very sloppy fight overall. But did get through it, so that's what's going to matter. As long as I get through that boss item free. From what I've heard, some people have been having issues with this Electro, which can be tricky. The way I'm thinking, Magneto should make easy work of them. So again, I'm trying to save my Magneto for that fight as much as possible. Star looks to be simple. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my Void. Should make fairly simple work of it based on the stacking of the debuffs. And, well, more silly mistakes. This is going to be one of my sloppier quests we're going to see. But as long as I accomplish the end goal, which is to get through it item free, then we're all, at least I'm happy. That's what's said and done. You don't get bonus points for extra champs that are still for extra solos. You get the same rewards either way. Only way you get less total net is if you use items to get there. So what we're seeing here is a few times I've ran into some hiccups or some mistakes. Magneto has bailed me out each time, which is making me realize I probably should have just focused on Magneto the whole time. So if you got a Magneto, just use him for this pass. Save yourself some of the silliness I did, and I'm sure you'll be rewarded with it. Now, seeing some of the nodes on here, gotta worry about Electro and the damage I get back. However, with the overall nodes, which includes the getting regeneration for having unstoppables. This makes Magneto a good fit. This is why I wanted to have Magneto for this fight, because I do know I'm going to take damage when I hit Electro. However, I do know I can heal it back nice and easy. And going through here, or see Magneto's working smooth, so we did see that most of the path went fairly well. Learn from the mistakes I made and where I made them on the path. Keep in mind each time on the mistakes I made, Magneto made easy work of that. Oh, there was another silly mistake. A lot of sloppiness going on here, but I'm not too worried because I got pretty much unlimited free regeneration with Magneto based on the nodes when I do heavies anyway. So I'm not worried too much. Ooh, although, yeah, this has been some of my sloppier work. Saw how smooth my chapter 1 was, and so far in chapter 2, a little bit rougher, but again, as long as it gets done, make it more exciting. No one wants to see a blowout every single time, do they? Gotta have some real world fun in here. So I've learned my lesson now. I'm getting too focused. A lot of things going on. I'm worried about getting the health back. I'm worried about the regeneration. I'm worried about getting these unstoppables. And I haven't been paying enough attention to the power bar on the S1 because I got to have a little distance before he launches that S1, especially with it being unblockable. So paying a little more attention. I'm still doing fine. Still doing fine. Decided to go with that S3 there. I'm hoping this should get this Electro down and out, or at least staying close to it. And there's that S1, and we're just down to a little bit of health left, trying to make sure I don't make any last second mistakes. So we've seen how this has gone, so nothing's out of the question, and down goes Electro. So little sloppy of a path, but still a boss solo. So you can see what worked for the boss. I know I've given at least some people some troubles from what I've heard. Additionally, you're able to see a way to get through the path and you see what works. So eliminate the mistake portions I made on specifically that vision fight, and you're good to go. So now we're going to go to Variant 6, 2.2, Chapter 2, Quest 2. Looking at the nodes. So here, based on the nodes that I am seeing, again, need to use the villain attack team. And going through Colossus first. Normally on Colossus, I would pretty much always use Magneto. However, I brought Venom the Duck again. I had a lot of fun with Venom the Duck in Chapter 1, like a ton of fun with him in Chapter 1. So I decided to break him back out. Even though Magneto would be a better match for this fight, I want to get my Venom the Duck ramped up because I think I'm going to do another Venom the Duck run. He's just so fun to use. First fight's a little but after that, and I got some decent luck on early buffs coming up. I always like to get a regeneration in as early as possible. Because once I bank that regeneration, I know I can double it up as needed. But more so, I know that I'm able to have a little bit of forgiveness to where if there are silly mistakes going on, I don't have to play as uptight when I have free, easy regeneration like that. So I got precision going on, so I got 2 of my 3 debuffs. So I'm seeing what else pops on up. In the meantime, I'm happy with how the debuffs have started, so I can start doing some damage on him. I always try to start off slow on fights with Venom the Duck, because I don't want to knock out the opponent before I can get at least 2 or 3 buffs that I want on. So now I got at least 2. Start finding, of course, that S2 against Colossus should be pretty nice. And we'll see some, because of that toxic armor, and we're going to see some damage being done there. And we're going to see a little mistake. and just got locked up in there as I was trying something. But again, good thing about Venom the Duck, I get the forgiveness. I have not been banking the other buffs that have came up. I still have one left, mainly because in the first fight, I try to be careful on which ones I do bank, because that way in the second fight I can double up. So if I did 2 precisions now and double up in next fight, that would end me up with 4, and I don't want that many, especially this early in the quest. So taking my time, I do not want an armor up buff. We did see that was very helpful in 1.2. That gave Venom the Duck some like really good power control abilities. I did enjoy that. But that is not a buff here, so I will not be bothering with banking that one. Again, I don't want to do another regeneration yet, mainly because I know I'm going to bank my buffs in the near future, double them up, so I don't want that many regeneration this early in the quest. Having some control issues. It was like sticking. I was trying to move. I don't know if I need to clean my iPad or what, but having a little control issues. But anyways, simple fight. I got a little bit of ramp up on my Venom the Duck. At least got something, some of what I wanted. I'm going to go through here on the Venom. And a lot of times I would normally bring my Doom in for this fight as a better matchup, but decided I want to ramp up my Venom the Duck. Therefore, I'm going to stay with him. These fights are doable for him, so get it done. I see a Fury. There's something I always want with Venom the Duck. Furies and regenerations are always my focal points when I build them up. At least to start off anyways, and then fill in the rest with whatever I feel like. And the S2 is something that throws me off on occasion. Like I'll get a good like 8 or 9 out of 10 times, but occasionally that different little hop throws me off, or I just forget because that animation did change when they buffed him a while back, and I was still haven't got used to the new version. So I'll usually try to focus on baiting the S1 as much as I can, but sometimes I'll get patient push to the S2 and go from there. It's not unblockable special, so if I take a little bit of block damage, I've already got regeneration. I'd probably rather just take a tiny bit of block than risk taking a whole special 2 to the head from a little mistake, which I've done plenty of times, believe me. So going in, smashing this Venom a little bit more. I see a power gain came up, so I want to make sure that I bank that one. So I banked 3 buffs this fight because I only banked 2 in the first fight. So now I'm pretty good with my pool, so I can start playing a little bit stronger now. I'm pretty happy with my first 5 buffs in these first couple fights that I've used Venom the Duck. So now I can play a little more aggressive. First couple fights are a little bit slow usually with them. After that, have a little bit of fun. So I am looking, since I'm pretty comfortable with my Venom the Duck is right now, I decided to go ahead and go with Doom. Even though I was very tempted to use VTD here, I was just thinking Doom should make this a little bit simpler. After how sloppily I played in 2.1 on that path in a couple of the fights, Medusa is one of those who, if you're not paying attention, if too many things are going on, you don't see those Furies pop up, you can make silly mistakes. So I'd rather make a mistake with Doom, like they're let us do. I'd rather make a mistake with Doom right now than with Venom the Duck, because I don't really need Doom for this path. I just brought Doom along just to say hi to the guy. He's not good outside of this fight. He's not going to have a whole lot of use or need for me. So if he doesn't do good here, I'm not too worried. This is just to get him a little bit of action. And of course the old teleport to the castle to blow a hole in your roof special. And there we go. Again, we are seeing a little bit slower on the power. I did take out my Mystic Dispersion a couple weeks ago for something I was doing and haven't put it back on yet. I do need to put at least a couple points back in because it does make champs like Doom a lot more smoother. And another not pretty fight, however. Job got done, it got through it, soloed it, so we will take that as a win. If I let myself be used as a punching bag temporarily, not that big of a deal. Going into the Civil War here, this one always got to be careful of when he's got the armor up buff as far as reflective armor, so gonna be careful on that and just fight him while making sure I don't make too many more silly mistakes. I did bank my bus, so I'm up to 8 now. Give me some good toxic armor going on. And Civil War is going down pretty smoothly so far. Knowing I got a decent amount of regeneration, I'm just not having issues taking a little bit of block damage. I'd rather take a little bit of block than getting clipped on part of a special, which can happen sometimes, and or not mistakenly parry when the armor ups up and then get smashed with that reflective stuff. So that would be bad. And I got regeneration as needed, so I am not too worried about that. Next up is going to be Scarlet Witch. I class this advantage. Scarlet Witch does all kinds of weird things. I plan on really finishing up most of the path with Venom the Duck. So I don't want to risk him on this fight. I'll bring one of my collateral damage guys. In this case is going to be Void. Doom was my initial collateral damage for the path. Void is going to be collateral damage here in case he loses some health, gets damaged. I don't care. Get me through the fight, that's all I ask. Venom the Duck is pretty much going to handle the rest. That's what I'll look at. I'll bring a champ just for one purpose and one purpose, only one fight. As long as they get through it, I don't care if it's pretty. But since weird things will come up when you fight her sometimes, never know what to expect, and we see poisons going on, so I'm definitely taking some damage. Haven't done anything too silly in this fight, but it will happen, especially if you bring non-immune champs here. I'm kind of thinking maybe I should have used my Sentinel, knowing that you will get poisons in these fights sometimes. However, again, I don't really need Void for outside of this fight after this, so if I lose some health, I won't be too worried. But I am losing quite a lot of health from those poisons as we see. So keep that in mind in this fight. In theory, Void should have made a pretty easy work of this. However, as we're seeing, the debuffs that are getting hit on me are causing me a lot of damage. So not the best. Trying to be careful. I'm trying to solo this fight. Considering I haven't taken a hit yet, I am very low on health. And go ahead and finish this one off. So Void did what I needed him to do, so I will be perfectly fine with that. Going into the War Machine fight now. So I still have space for 2 more busts. I'm kind of keeping an eye on what comes up. What do I want to put in them? So I went ahead and just took that one. At this point, I got a really strong base of buffs, so whatever else I make is pretty much just gravy right here. So I'm not going to be overly picky, but I do see that Fury, and I really rarely say no to Furies. I love some good Furies. I always mess up on that S1 way too often. I know I'm going to mess up evading, but just natural instincts always try to evade part of it anyways, and usually take some bleed damage. So it's smarter just to try to parry it, because every time I try to evade it, it almost always comes out really, really bad. Again, I got some regenerations available on Venom the Duck, so I should not be too worried about taking a little bit of block damage. That's not going to hurt me much, and it's easy to correct. So I just went ahead and took that block just to avoid any issues. Projectiles sometimes get a little tricky on different speeds. I knew I had an S3 available, which is going to give me some free healing right here and give me some strength. So I figure I'll get some health back and be able to do some pretty good damage while I got all those other buffs up, including 3 Fury. And we'll see War Machine go down. I'm comfortable where my Venom the Duck is at as I go towards wrapping up the path. And here we go. Go to the boss fight. Got a Drax here. That's my idea of a boss. So I'm already happy that Drax is boss, because I mean he's like one of the easiest everything in the game to beat. Looking through the nodes, not seeing anything unusual, special villain attack stuff. Each time above nullify defender villain attackers. Okay, precision. So nullify. So I could use the nullify if I want, but this is Drax. I mean, come on. So not too worried. More aggressive. Okay, special 2. Okay, defender fight, indefinite passive. Okay, so I gotta be careful. It's gonna be offensive, and I'm gonna see some prowess right there. So gotta watch out on the specials. But Drax specials are just ridiculously easy to evade. So I am not worried about his prowess or his offensive ability. I'm going in with my Venom the Duck. I would think this should be an easy solo. However, whoever knows? The way I've been doing a little bit of these fights today. And so go ahead, evade that. I'm going to go ahead and do some S2 fun, some toxic armor goodness. And you're going to see some pretty good damage coming up. Respectable anyway. Well, he probably doesn't have a very high armor rating, so won't go much more higher than respectful, but that's fine. I'm thinking next time around I might just reactivate all my buffs just to get some Furies going instead. The S2 was decent, but not what I wanted, so I'm thinking my S3 here, re-getting those 10 buffs, should let me put a pretty big heavy dent in Drax, because right now Drax is just nothing but a health pool to me. Just get his health down, quicker the better, just because. Got other things to do than waste my time fighting Drax. So we see some pretty good damage going on as I got these buffs up. I am draining his health pool nice. And get a nice little S2 here. His silly little special right there, evade that. And I'm going to wrap this up with the super easy solo, which was anticipated on this fight based on everything I had seen. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this helps. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget, I'm also going to have Chapter 3 to this Variant 6 up as well. Good luck in your Variant completion quests.